Hey, welcome to my channel.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Oh, happy new week. I hope everyone is doing good. Today's topic is a topic that's been requested for some time now. I've had questions from a lot of people about how to start writing, how to blog, and I thought I would talk about it today. And there's no better person to talk about it than this guy, the broski, because we've been writing since we were kids. So this is my brother Alex, and I thought we would talk about some tips and advice about blogging, how you can start blogging if you want to blog, and a background from us in relation to how long we've been writing, why we write, that sort of thing. So
on your channel already, this is a special seal.
It's one of those things where it has to come from within, right? Like you have to have the desire to write. But the first thing that I would say is just start. Just start. We started when we were kids.
I think first thing is pen and paper. Pen and pencil.
We're in 2020. People can blog on
or anything you can write on. But yeah, you're right. We started a long time ago. We started in primary school.
Yeah.
As soon as we could write, basically, we started. I started to compete with you, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
we used to.
Our English teacher always used to say, you should see your sister's compositions. You should see how she writes. Handwriting is beautiful. I was thinking, see, shut up. Shut up. So anyway,
we had no choice in primary school. You had to have good handwriting, otherwise.
I mean, even creativity. I mean, grammar. She used to. Hey, it was a marking scheme. She was a marking scheme. So the teacher comes. She gives me your work.
No
She's
way.
telling me, hey.
That used to happen?
She did.
I didn't know that.
She's telling me, look how me. So you built me in a way. Actually, I built myself.
Lies!
Let's
go back to I built you.
Trying to better you. In the end, I made myself better, so asante. Thank you.
Eish.
And
So deep.
do you remember that the contest we did, it was in
I
the newspaper.
remember.
And you won a bike or you won something weird like a teddy bear.
I don't remember what I won.
Anyway,
I just remember I won.
you won and you went to Village Market to collect.
Yeah. And they gave me a voucher for lunch as well.
So do you remember what happened so that you won? I lost mine. That's how you won.
No. I won because
that's
I was
how
the
you
best.
won. You won because I
Listen.
lost. So we wrote our stuff. Yes. Then we took them to school.
Yes.
And we wrote on different colored paper. I remember.
I remember. So we could differentiate whose essay was who, and it was colored foolscap.
It was, yes. We wrote, and then we took them to school. Maybe, I think the teacher wanted to see. No, we wanted to show the teacher.
I can't remember.
Yeah, we wanted to show the teacher.
Yours flying out the window.
We wanted to show the teacher so we can have feedback and so she can tell us, okay, this is good, change this, do this or not. And she was very impressed. And so the final drafts were on those colored foolscaps, different color foolscaps. So white, blue, red, orange, blah, blah, blah. So it's home time. So on that left turn, I was busy. Someone was with my foolscaps. I was busy showing off. Yeah, to my friends and to your friends.
Yeah.
And the window next to me was open.
God humbled.
I was holding them, telling people how I'm the next Shakespeare.
God
next
humbled
thing.
you. Yeah, God humbled you. You don't. Why?
So I've always had wings. They just flew off.
They just know.
They flew off. So that was.
I maintain that I won because I was the best. He thinks I won because his didn't.
So the moral of the story is, you won because there was one essay that didn't make it for.
That is just lavish.
Yeah.
You know this.
It was nice.
Anyway, so yeah,
I was happy you won. I was happy you won. But
okay, so we've been competing against each other. We started competing against each other since we were kids, and we would enter competitions, writing competitions, creative writing competitions. There used to be something called Young Nation in the Daily Nation.
And I think they still do it but I'm not sure.
Yeah, so they would
I don't
have
know if they still have the competition.
creative writing competitions in there, I think every Sunday. And we would enter those competitions and win. And that's how, I think for me, that's how I knew that I was good at writing, is because I used to win those competitions.
Yeah.
Which one did you win? I mean,
We'll never know.
I mean, what more evidence do you need?
When you can see someone progressing, you've won. I agree, just start.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just start. So what I do, I carry around a notebook or my phone. I use my phone as a notebook. Because ideas come anywhere.
Yeah.
And they come fresh and hot, and they come... When they come is when they're best.
Yeah, because it might disappear. That's
like,
a really good
yeah,
tip.
it's like freshly cooked bread.
Okay.
It's when it comes, it's a really good idea. Even if it might not seem so, it might seem silly at the time. But if you write it down, if you put it down, you're less likely to forget, because you can get the idea and part of it you forget later, but you remember the rest.
Yeah.
So the part you forgot is probably what would have made this idea a golden one. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. So if you write it down, it will help spice up something that you wanted to write down
have it
rather
at the
than
time.
Yeah.
The
The other thing I just thought of is, if you are entering writing competitions, check out your competition. I lived with my competition, so I knew his style of writing.
How do you check out your competition?
Check out how they write.
Oh.
So check out, so if it's a contest, they'll have winners. Like the Daily Nation used to have a winner
they put,
essay.
Yeah.
They used to have whoever won the last time. They used to have that essay published. So for me, I used to check out your writing.
So good.
So check out your competition. Check out how they write. Compare that to how you write, because that will help you figure out if you're on the same trajectory, like if you're on track, if you're on message. Okay.
Yeah, it's good to measure yourself in some way. Another idea or something else I can add to what you just said is read.
A lot.
Read a lot.
A lot.
Read and read and read and read widely. Different genres. You said it?
I don't know if it's Mateo Zito.
Genre.
Not genre.
No genre.
Anyway.
So different genres. Or whatever. Yeah.
We apologize to every French person.
Read widely.
Yeah, I think I used to read, like, I can't even, when did I begin reading? I think as soon as I could read, I was reading everything.
I have a reading
I used to read novels, the Mills and Boone, like sneak them under my covers and read them. I used to read Goosebumps, Sydney Sheldon, Sweet
Archie,
Valley High, Archie,
even Tintin, Taifa Leo.
Yes.
Taifa Leo Swahili newspaper.
Yeah, that used to help with inshas as well.
You read as much as you can, and you read whenever you can. So if you're doing something, if you're having breakfast, if you're chilling, if you can do something and read at the same time, then do that. If you're going to, like you're natural, so you don't go to the salon, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yes.
Yeah, if you're having a haircut, whatever you're doing, you can just read.
Yeah, so
on your phone, but I prefer hard copy, but whatever you can read.
Yeah,
read
me
widely.
too. I can't do the Kindle stuff.
Yeah, read widely. It really helps it builds something. It builds ideas and how to put them together. It builds vocabulary. It builds, even your style of writing may be there, but it needs like a push from something you read. I don't know how else to put it, but reading they go hand in hand.
Yeah, reading and writing go hand in hand.
They do go hand in hand.
And
as much as you have the imagination and you have creativity, it's not like you copy something directly, but it might trigger something.
Yeah.
It might trigger you to have an idea.
Yeah, so what I used to do when I was young is I used to read a book, say a Sydney Sheldon type of book. Sydney Sheldon.
Murderer.
Sydney Sheldon was thriller like, but there's
Drama.
also love type stories. What do you?
I'm blind to love.
There was thriller, but there was also two romance, like hot scenes.
Oh,
but the point I was trying to make is that as a young girl, I didn't have first-hand experience with romance, but what I did was I pretended that I did. You know what? So I used to imagine I have a bae. You know what? I can't. This is why I don't have rude people on my channel.
Pretended you had a... Hey.
Anyway, yeah, so I used to pretend in my head that I have a bae and I'm writing to him or I'm writing about him or something. And so I used to write based off of imagination, pure imagination. Mm-hmm. And the stories and the poetry I used to write used to be like heartbreaking. I read it back once and I was like, ooh.
Heartbreaking.
Slightly disturbing in the fact, in how detailed they were, especially because I was in primary school. I had no love life. And so I have no life experience, but I was writing as if I did, because what I was doing was modeling off of the books that I had read and creating a scenario in my head that I'm in love and it's a tragic love story and, you know, influenced by media, by Hollywood, by whatever. And I just always used to write from that perspective. So let your imagination run wild. Honestly, let it run wild as you write. Don't limit yourself to, you know, just conventional stuff or stuff that you feel is acceptable or whatever.
Think of it this way. It lets you express yourself. So if you wrote about heartbreak, and you haven't experienced it, still it's an expression of self. It's a form of art. It's a form of giving what you have, and I guess you get it out and you need to.
Yeah,
Instead
I mean,
of keeping it in and
it's,
because
I think
as much as you don't have, people have, you know, what's real is actually relative. You may have an actual imaginary bae, like you said, and there's proper heartbreak and you feel it.
No, I used to cry from like, because it was a proper.
Don't cry.
No, not now. I'm just saying.
Okay,
back then, I used to actually believe my own stories, and so I used to write them as if I'm writing my own tragic, and they always used to be tragic.
That's
because
important.
I think that's what I was consuming.
If you believe what you're writing, it's important.
Yeah. So let your imagination run wild.
My imagination is very active.
So is mine.
Very active. So whatever it is, I will put it down.
Yeah.
There was a time, by the way, I used to write erotic. What I thought was erotic.
It was that age. Anyway, and I think being creative or having some sort of creative streak to you is not limited to one area of creativity, because you draw.
I dance
You've been
too.
an artist since you were a kid. He
dance.
draws really, really well.
Yeah. Drawing and
You actually almost
writing.
became an architect or something. You wanted to become an architect and
Yes,
a
that
pilot.
was number 2. Yes,
Yeah.
number 2. I had a list of the professions that I wanted to, like what I wanted to be when I grew up.
Really?
The professions that I would have,
Must be nice.
or the professions I would do, from the one that I love most. In
How many were there?
decreasing order of love. So I think there were 4.
What? So
Number
no
1
pilots.
is flying, pilots are number 1. Number 2, architect. 3, cardiac surgeon. And then 4, engineer. So I listed them by order of interests and what I felt I would love to do. But they all involve my hands, because I love working with my hands. So even when I wrote, or even now when I still now when I write and when I draw, it's almost the same kind of feeling. It's it's very, I don't know how to describe.
Cathartic.
It's more than that. It is
therapeutic.
It
Yeah.
is, yes.
Yeah.
And that's why every time I'm doing a blog piece or I'm writing something, whatever it is, if it's something that I have to put online, I'll still write it down, pen and paper first.
What?
And then I'll type it.
For me, the process is slightly different. I almost can't do it. I can't do it twice because writing is so personal, and so I feel like it's almost like being naked in public. When you put something that you've written out there, it makes me feel vulnerable. And so what I do is I open my laptop, I bang out whatever I want to write, and I hit publish. Because if I don't do that, if I go back, I'm not going to publish it, or I'm not going to share it with the world. It has to go out when it's written. If it doesn't go out, like the stuff, honestly, like I started to write a book probably in 2000 and...
A book?
Yeah.
Book. Hey.
In about 2011. I've never progressed because I keep going back to check the chapters that I wrote, and I'm like, oh my God. So when it comes to my blog posts and stuff I've written for work, stuff like that, I would get someone else to check it, and
someone else? Oh, like
yeah, as in
check.
someone else to check if there's something else that's needed or if there's information missing, because I guarantee you, if I go back to it, the chances of me publishing are very low. I don't know why. It just feels like I'm overthinking it, or I will overthink it. And that's just my process for blogging. It's almost like I throw it out there, and I'm just like, let the universe deal with it how they're gonna deal with it. But it's out of my system. So that's my process. So I definitely can't write it down.
It's the same for me. It's just that
re-type it.
It's the same.
So it's really interesting that you have that.
Yeah, I have to write mine down. It feels like if I just type it, it's not personal. I don't know how else I can put that. Yeah,
makes sense.
I need to write mine down.
So the other thing that I can think of is, if you're not confident with your grammar or your spelling, either use an application that will spell check, or download some applications that can check your grammar. So I've heard of this app called Grammarly. I don't know if it's an app or a program called Grammarly.
It's an app.
I haven't used it. You've used it.
I've used it, yeah. It's very nice.
Yeah.
It's quick. It's real time.
Yeah.
As you type, it gives you corrections. As you're doing your work, whatever you're doing.
That's
and
really
it gives
helpful.
you suggestions, not just corrections on grammar.
Yeah.
Even context, even useless words in sentences.
Yeah.
Colloquialism.
Yeah.
All those weird, hard English words that mean that you fucked up somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, so look at things like that.
And there's an app that's existed for a long time. It's called a dictionary. Use it.
Honestly, that's the other thing I forgot. I used to read a thesaurus. If you don't know what a thesaurus is, it's a form of a dictionary that will give you alternative words to the word you want to use. For example, if you want to you're writing an essay, you're writing a story, but you want to switch it up with the language, you want to spice the language up. So for example, you want to use a simple word like
friends.
Like friend.
Friends, plural.
If you open up a thesaurus will give you alternative words for that same simple word. So an alternative for friends would be
kith. Kith.
Yeah, kith. Like kith and kin. Yeah,
Yeah.
kith. So you end up spicing up your sentence with the same meaning but with a different word. It just gives it a different vibe. And so when we were young, I can't remember if this was a requirement from school or if this was just me being super nerdy, but I used to read thesaurus, like literally open up from A, B, C, and I picked up so many interesting words.
I used to
so many interesting alternative words for the conventional words that I was used to. And so that used to help me with my English composition writing in school. also for inshas in Swahili context, I used to read the kamusi, and I used to enjoy it. I actually really truly enjoy
the dictionary.
Reading the dictionary, thesaurus and kamusi.
It's very interesting.
Can't explain why.
It's interesting.
Yeah, because I have a fascination for words. I've always had a fascination for words. The other thing, of course, that I can't fail to mention, I think this works both ways because we went to the same school, is we went to Kilimani Junior Academy, and we had amazing English teachers.
Very, very
I
nice
honestly credit my English teachers for honing my writing skills, because yes, I could write, but had they not spotted that in me, in him, and I probably wouldn't have known that I can write properly. I probably would have slept on it. So Kilimani was a really, really good training ground, and I'm actually really happy that my nephew is there.
KJ,
Big up, Jabal.
Lion King.
Yeah, so I think that is really important if you're thinking about what to do to hone a young person's writing skills. The education of who oversees their writing is really important.
And reading.
But then I credit my parents as well, because they used to buy us books.
Hey.
If you wanted books,
If you want books,
you got it.
you can go book shopping anytime,
Yeah.
anytime.
Yeah.
Hey, and newspapers.
Yeah.
Have you read the newspaper today?
Yeah, actually,
You
Dad
haven't?
used to.
Eh?
Dad used to.
You haven't read
He used to he used to like pick
Hey.
a passage in the newspaper, and he'd
Yeah.
like, I want you to read this by this time. When I come back, I'll ask you questions about
Yeah.
colonialism within our own house.
I know.
Anyway, look, all these factors contributed to us being writers, and I've kept up with my writing since I was a kid. I've published articles, been paid for articles. I'm a ghostwriter. I've ghostwritten 2 books now.
I've ghostwritten a song.
Which one?
Make sure you watch the next one.
So, and then we both still have our blogs. I'll put the links down below in the description box. Yeah, you're still writing as well now. You're doing some freelance.
I'm doing
writing
freelance
gigs.
content writing.
Yeah.
For
So it's practice,
various
practice,
websites.
practice, practice, practice. If you want to start practicing writing, journal. Start journaling, writing to yourself, for yourself, then gradually build up from that. But honestly, just start. It's important that you start because everyone has their own opinion, everyone has their own voice.
Yes.
The way I write is different from the way he writes. Like you'll see it from our blog posts, and I'll link them below. We write in completely different styles, and we grew up pretty much in the same household. So you're gonna have a different voice to the next person, and it's really important that if you want to write, that your voice is heard, because it's a unique voice. So just start. You will only get better as you practice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Writing down, taking notes.
All right. Well, thank you for watching. Let us know if this has been useful. If you've got questions about writing, let us know as well in the comments below. And subscribe to my channel. Give it a thumbs up. Switch on the notifications so you know when I post a new video. And I will see you next week. Thank you to my brother for sharing his knowledge and wisdom on this subject. If you've got questions, put them in the comment section below.
Yeah.
And we will both
I will
get
answer,
to them.
yes,
All
because
right?
I'm sure there's things I know that I haven't mentioned. If I get a question, then I can answer.
Yeah. Otherwise, I will see you next week.
Thanks, Dave.